Welcome back to Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo, and today's guest is Luke Sandoe. We've had him here before. He's back. He had a great season this year, early in the year. 6th place at the Arnold Classic, 3rd place at the Indy Pro. A little bit of a mishap at the Cal. We're going to talk about that. Luke, how's everything going?
Yeah, very well. Thank you, Dave. I appreciate you having me on again.
Yeah, I wanted to get you on because there's been a lot of, I don't like when people, talk crap about people and stories get twisted and turned twisted out of shape. Before we get to the story I'm talking about is, let's talk about early in the year, because you had a really good early run. A lot of people thought you should have been way higher at the Arnold than the 6th place you finished. You came back at that Indy Pro and were 3rd place. A lot of people really were talking very highly about your physique. Talk to me about what kind of year it's been so far for you, at least in the beginning of the year.
Well, the beginning of the year was everything went really well. The only aim I had was actually to do the Indy Pro, because that was what I saw on the list. And I got in contact with Chris Aceto because I've been wanting to work with him for a long time. I think I'd actually emailed him before, but he never replied. So I've heard he does that a lot. So I tried my luck again. He got back to me and he agreed to take me on, so which was very cool. Because I've always wanted to work with Chris. Like, who doesn't? And then I think I was about eight weeks out from when the Arnold Australia was, and I didn't know I was going to do the show. Tony Doherty put the list up on Instagram, and my name was on it.
Is that really how it came about?
No, he hadn't said anything. So I was like, I guess I'm doing Australia. So I said to Chris, I was like, can I do Australia? He was like, yeah, we can do that. It'd be fun. He said obviously the aim is Indy, so we'll just kind of go into Australia, not trying to like peak hard or anything. Just go in how you are. As long as you're better than you've been before, you'll be rewarded, and then we'll focus on Indy, which was the plan. So I got the 6th place. I actually think I think the scorecards, I may have been in 4th, but I think I lost because of the posing routine. I think because they still score it.
That's right. They score the posing routine at the Arnolds.
Yeah, so obviously I had Hide and Lucas Osledil ahead of me, and their posing routines were by far the best, so I couldn't really...
all of Chris Aceto's clients lose to Hide because of the posing round at the Arnold Classics.
I can't do that with my glutes either. I just can't do it. I've tried, I just can't do it.
You don't have drama fingers, yeah. Fingers.
So that's it.
Now, you, like I said, you really impressed a lot of people there. You came into Indy also. You looked really good. This has been the hardest we'd seen you. It seems like you have a lot of muscle in your body, and that conditioning thing has been the sticking point for you. And it seems like Chris was able to dry you out and bring you in the way the judges wanted to see you, at least.
Yeah. I mean, I still could have been harder. I don't think I gave myself quite enough time with Chris. I think the whole diet was probably about 14 weeks, and I would ideally normally want to start about 20 weeks out.
Right.
I can't even remember why I decided to do the Indy. I think I was just itching to get back into a contest prep.
Yeah. Now, you decided you were going to do another show after the Indy, the Cal Pro. Now, that was quite a distance off, and it's pretty hard to peak multiple times a year. What made you decide, hey, you know what, this wasn't good enough, I want to try to do another show?
Well, I wanted to get a win because everyone was telling me after the Indy, they're like, you just come in a little bit crisper, you're going to be hard to beat, you could win pretty much any show if you can nail it. And I'd only been out twice with Chris, and even Chris agreed that I could be better. And I'm a bodybuilder, which means I'm a bit fucked up here. So I thought I'll just keep going, and then kept going. It was quite obvious about 4 weeks before my body was just not responding at all. We were doing all the same things. Chris really, really pushed me hard. My body was just like, stop, I've had enough. Yeah. I think like 3 weeks out, I was like 273. Oof. And just watery, but but I didn't look big either. It was and I just said to Chris, I was like, listen, we've got work to do, and I was like, I can take it. Whatever you give me, I can do it. Don't worry about it. I can do it. So he pushed my cardio up, pulled my carbs right down, which he didn't really like doing with me. He said the whole way through Indy in Australia, he was like, that doesn't work for you. You just need to chip away gently and let your body kind of do its thing, which is why those 2 preps were super easy. In comparison to the past. And then with this one, we just decided to, put the pedal down, try and come in as hard as possible. And it did backfire a little bit. I didn't feel too good. Wasn't very confident going into the show. So I did it regardless. I mean, one of the main reasons I did it, it was nothing to do with sponsors or anything. It was because I'm with the I'm Rebel clothing company. They're based in California, and I thought, because if I do that show, they didn't ask me to. I did it off my own back. I thought if I do that show, I can go spend the week there after, do a lot of content, get some cool pictures done and videos and stuff, and use that time wisely. So that's why I decided to do Cali. So, but obviously,
yeah. So you decide to do this Cal Pro. And you show up in California, and you don't feel good. Walk us through what happens.
Okay, so this is where it gets a bit hairy. This is where people start making shit up. So everything was going pretty well. I mean, I worked with Chris for 2 shows. I kind of know how he peaks. It's never that aggressive. I mean, to some it may sound aggressive. I hold a lot of water. You got to get that shit off. So we went in as normal. Up until about 3 days out, my body was kind of responding nowhere near to the level it was for India or Australia. And I think I was 2 days out, and I was in the firehouse, which I just tried to train at Gold's. I was in the firehouse, and I was eating some steak and rice. It was a bob bowl, actually. And I just started vomiting. So I had to run to the toilet. I just felt horrible. I texted Chris, and he was like, get some water in, go home, sleep. He said, if you can't eat, don't worry about it, just rest. You need to rest because you're stressed. And I was like, okay, I'll go home and rest. Next day, I felt pretty good. We got the meals back in, had some water, had some fluid. I was like, okay, I feel good now. My body's still not really looking how it should. It was
that freaking bob bowl you had at the firehouse. That's what screwed you up.
Man, I threw the whole thing. I finished it, and it all came straight back up. So,
Bob Ciccarello, it's all your fault. No, just kidding. All right, so yeah, finish. So you feel good the next day. You're eating and everything.
Yeah. So the next day I was eating, my food in. Everything was not going to plan, just because my body was just being a dick, basically. And and again, I was like, Chris, we need to get my body to where it needs to be in like 24 hours. So we restricted my water a little bit more. I'd been sick. I was super dehydrated just from vomiting.
Yeah, and vomiting will mess up your potassium levels in your body. Usually what it does is it lowers potassium in the body. But
yeah, but obviously the thing is as well, everyone knows this is it's the elephant in the room. There's diuretics involved. This is professional bodybuilding. And a guy my size, like 255, 260 on stage, I carry water and I need to get it off. And I'm not going to get it off a dandelion route. It's not vitamin C.
Right. So you're using what, aldactone and a little diazide?
Yeah, we aldactone from about 5 days out, just as we had in Australia, just as we had in Indiana, and that worked fine. And we were using diazide. I think we pushed the diazide harder this time because I needed to drop the water. Combining that with being sick, just compounded the whole thing, and I got pretty ill, to say the least, on the day of the show.
What were your symptoms?
I couldn't really move properly. I was lightheaded, and I just thought, I'm just dehydrated. So Chris was like, you need to get some fluids in you because you're dehydrated. And I was like, yeah, I do feel really pretty shit, actually. Yeah. So I was backstage, and everyone's like, dude, are you okay? I was like, yeah, I just need some water. So I had a couple of bottles of water, and then we were backstage queuing up, and I was like, oh, I feel awful.
First of all, let me stop you for a second, Luke, because anyone who's a competitor out there knows the worst time to feel terrible is backstage. Here you are trying to go out and do battle on a pro stage, and you're feeling just crappy, and now you're thinking, you know what? I might not make it on stage because I just don't feel right. I have to drink water, which I know is not the right thing to do right before I go on stage. And you start seeing all the things, everything crumbling around you. That's not the time you want this to happen. So this must be screwing with you psychologically at this point as well.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I mean, I don't quit. So I was like, I'm still going to get to the stage. I'm still going to do this. Right. Even if I look terrible, which I do, I'm still going to see it through to the end. So at least I know I haven't quit. Right. Which is ridiculous when you look back. Sure. But that's kind of the way a lot of us are. And I was backstage, and I just felt awful. I had a few of the guys like, "You okay? You okay?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm just dehydrated. I've had a bit of food poisoning," because it felt like food poisoning. So whenever you have food poisoning, you get like kind of shivers. You feel just shit.
You might have had a virus too, for all we know. We don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. There was definitely something wrong because like 2 days out.
When you travel from like different countries, you can get these weird viruses because your body's just not used to the environment. It's not used to the bacteria and the viral, vectors that are floating around there. And, your immune system is definitely suppressed because of all the contest dieting. So it's not a big stretch of the imagination to see you getting some kind of a viral infection,
Yeah, I mean, that's what it felt like. And I probably wasn't conveying this to Chris properly. I was just like, he was like, are you okay? Are you okay? I was like, yeah, I'm fine.
Yeah.
But I wasn't fine. I was just like, I'm a day out. I'm dehydrated. That's what it is. I've probably got some food poisoning. I'll be fine. So I was backstage, had some water, and my stomach, I was just drinking. It felt like tipping acid into my stomach. That's what it felt like.
Right.
And I was like, I've eaten something really bad. It's that fucking Bob Bowl. So, needless to say, I was backstage and I was throwing up every 15 minutes backstage. I still went out and did my individual routine. I actually think I was in the second call out, which was really surprising. I did that call out and then the medic said, like, you just go home. You're not well. And I was like, yeah, I need to go. I went backstage, put my clothes back on, went around the back, met my friend Ben, who was my training partner. He came out, he flew out with me. And I said, I'm going to go back to the hotel room. I'm not going to come back for the night show. I just need to go and rest and sleep.
Right.
I went back to the room. I was just kept being sick. It was just, it felt like food poisoning. It felt like I've had salmonella before, and that's exactly what this felt like.
Right.
Obviously, there's diuretics active in my system. I'd used some Diazide, I'd used some Aldactone, and now on top of that, I was being sick. Sure. I couldn't hydrate. I couldn't get anything in.
Right.
So, cut a long story short, about 7 p.m. at night, I text Ben and said, I'm going to go to the hospital because I can't get any fluid in. I couldn't fall asleep either. That was what was frightening me. I just couldn't fall asleep. It was like every time.
You felt terrible, in other words, yeah.
Yeah, but like normally when you're unwell, you can fall asleep quite easily because you feel. But my body just wouldn't. It was like telling me something. It was hard to describe.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm going to go to the hospital. He came and met me in an Uber. We went to the ER and they took me and I was like, look, I'm fine. Just put me on a drip and then send me on my way. I'm fine. I'm just dehydrated. And they're like, okay. So I actually lay down on the floor in the foyer of the hospital. One of the porters had to move me along. And I just kept feeling worse. I felt like my body was like shriveling as well.
Right.
It's a feeling. I wasn't cramping, which was strange. It was like my body felt like it was locked up, but I wasn't cramping.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Yeah.
So went in. Yeah, I had a blood test. They were like, you just need to have a routine blood test, check everything's okay before we know what electrolytes to give you. And then they just rushed me straight into the ER. And they're like, right, we need to put a catheter in. We need to do this. We need to do that. I was like, whoa, what's going on? What do you mean? And they're like, your potassium levels are 9.8. Wow. And one of the doctors came around and he said, like, I don't know how you're alive. I don't know how you're alive.
That's not good. Yeah, that's not a good thing to find
so,
out from the doctors that we're shocked that you're alive. That's
So it turned out that so my potassium was very high, so I was hyperkalemic. They managed to they fixed that pretty easily. They just put I think they put Lasix in my drip.
Isn't it amazing? Yeah, the way they get rid of potassium when you're hyperkalemic, which means you have too much potassium, they actually give you a diuretic to get rid of it,
which
is
Lasix. They gave me Lasix and insulin and dextrose, and they gave me that, and I felt like a million times better within about 2 minutes.
The weird thing is that, and I'm still miffed by the whole thing, is that when you throw up, you lose potassium. So it's like the weirdest thing that you were so high in potassium.
Yeah, but this is probably what caused it. When they did on my kidney panel, my kidneys basically had stopped.
Oh, really?
The white flag, they're like, no, stop. So because I was so dehydrated, likely, I'm using diuretics, but I was trying to put fluids in, and I couldn't. So my body's just constantly pushing water out to the point where my kidneys are like, you're having a lot. Stop. So I think my creatinine levels were nearly 6 or something.
That's pretty damn high. Now, were you in a state of panic at this point? Like, oh fuck, I screwed my kidneys up. I'm done.
Yeah, I was like, oh my god. I had a catheter put in as well. Have you had a catheter put in?
Not fun. Yeah, I had one. Not fun.
I still to this day, that was the worst part.
yeah. My dad had open heart surgery. He told me, he's like, the worst part of the open heart surgery was the catheter that he put in. I said, Dad.
And I'll tell you what, it was really bad as well because the nurse was really hot as well. And she was looking at me dead in the eye, just like feeding this little tube into my dick. So And I was like, so in one part of me thinking, right, so my kidneys are falling out. There's a hot nurse just touching me, and I'm in a hospital bed in the other side of the world.
At least you were all shaved down. I mean, right?
At least I was kind of shredded and tanned.
Yeah.
So, so she did that. She didn't give me a number or anything, which I was really disappointed.
Well, yeah, because you were kind of like in a fucked up state.
I was like, you've seen it all now. What's going on? So yeah. Anyway, so the doctor came around and was like, look, if you don't start showing signs of improvement, we're gonna have to put you on dialysis. And I was like, oh my fuck.
Yeah.
And he said, like, your potassium levels are so high, I don't understand how you haven't had a heart attack yet.
Wow.
Your heart should have stopped. There was another doctor who was even more blunt than that. He just said, you pretty much should be dead.
Wow.
So they gave me an EKG. They did loads of scans on my kidneys to check for scarring. There was no scarring, luckily. My heart was absolutely fine. Within 12 hours, my EGFR was normal, my creatinine was normal, and my potassium levels were right back down.
Wow.
So my body because I'm healthy.
Yeah.
So going back on that, what I think happened during the drying out process, I must have been sick without really realizing it.
Right.
And I got way too dehydrated, and then my kidneys just stopped, and everything.
Right, and that's why the potassium went up so high. I got you.
Everything compounded on top of that, and then being hyperkalemic can also make you sick.
Yeah.
I was told. So a lot of these things happen. Next thing you know, I just posted some, like, I didn't know how serious it was. I was just like, I'm in the hospital getting a drip, like, thinking it was funny. Before you know it, everyone's like, oh, Chris Aceto nearly killed Luke. Have you seen this? Chris Aceto is the killer. And all this and all that and the other. And I was like, well, wasn't really like that. So
now I heard that too, obviously, and obviously I was Chris, because I want to just tell you my role before you finish. Chris was texting me during this whole period that you were in the hospital, asking me what's going on, because he knows I have a little bit of a medical background, and that I could give him better insights. And I was like really surprised about the hyperkalemia, because I said he should be low in potassium, if anything. I said from the throwing up, and we didn't realize. And then he told me you were your kidneys were shut down or whatever. And then all of a sudden he calls me like at the end of the day, and he's like, "Oh, Luke's fine. He left the hospital." Was it that quick?
Yeah. So I was let out the next day because
the next day. That's what I mean.
Yeah. So I was discharged, and they were like, "Okay, you're fine." I had my bloods done when I got back to the UK a week later, after all my obligations.
Because your creatinine completely went down after right?
Hmm?
Your creatinine completely cleared up the next day, right?
Yeah, everything was fine. And I had my blood work done the week after. They were the best they've been in about a year.
That's so strange.
So the doctors did a good job.
Yeah.
So everything was fine. And then I kept seeing like all these like people commenting on stuff, and there were like rumors going around, and there was like things popping up on threads and forums, just basically saying Chris nearly killed Luke. Did you see it? He was in the hospital. So I hadn't actually said anything at this point.
Yeah.
I said I was in the hospital. People put two and two together. I said I was hyperkalemic, and I even put on my Instagram before the show that I was feeling really unwell, leading into the show. And people just put two and two together and just started saying Chris nearly killed me. And I was like, no, that's bullshit. So I do a podcast myself. It's called Size Game, and I was a guest on a couple of podcasts, and I just wanted to kind of and the reason I had to do these interviews to try because I wanted to more defend Chris than anything, because it wasn't fair for that to people to be just basically pulling shit out of the air.
Right. But at some point it seemed like you were actually bashing Chris at some point.
No, I was trying not to, because it was like people kept saying, so Chris made you use diuretics. I was like, well yeah. And they're like, well, so it is his fault. And I was like, no. It wasn't his fault because that. It was this and that. And they're like, yeah, but Chris prescribed you diuretics. And I was like, yeah, it doesn't work like that, though. He wasn't there stuffing them down my throat.
Right.
So, and it's like, and I'd already done the peak twice, and I was absolutely fine twice.
Luke, let me ask you this question. What do you think about these? There seems to be like this new generation of guru out there that seem to want to get a lot of business, and what they're doing is they're trying to bash the existing people out there to try to make them look bad, so that people will come work with them. I'll throw Nick Trigili out there, because Nick doesn't like me because I exposed him for being a fraud and charlatan, selling basically water. in a vial. And so now he goes and tries to get my clients to like badmouth me and stuff like that. And I know he does that with Chris too, just so he can get the business, for himself. What do you think about this negative marketing that people are doing? Because I mean, you seem to have become a victim of it because people used your experience to try to discredit Chris, who just by chance has the new Mr. Olympia in his
so I just didn't. I'd never been part of any of this shit. Like people inboxing me all the time, and there was kind of this whole media circus around the thing, and I'd never experienced this. And all I wanted to do was just sweep it under the rug.
Yeah.
But I wanted the truth. I spoke to my mum about it, and I was like, "What should I do?" She's like, "Tell everyone the truth, because then everyone will be fine. The truth will set everyone free and all that shit." So I was like, "Okay, I'll just go on a podcast. I'll tell everyone what happened. I'll try and make it sound like it wasn't Chris." Right. I actually did an Instagram live video, and somebody asked me some questions. I briefly said, "Got dehydrated, was sick, kidney shut down, I'm fine." Generation Iron took that, and they cut this little clip out of it, and they made a whole article saying Chris Aceto nearly killed Luke Sandoe.
Right.
And then that started blowing it up even further. So I was like, "Oh, that's not what I said. You've just cherry picked one sentence."
Right. And to make things, I mean, to straighten everything out, you're working with Chris again. So obviously, if Chris tried to kill you and you thought that, you would not be working with him again.
Yeah. And it's and so going back to that, I was actually more upset that I thought I pissed Chris off, and I thought his name's been thrown under the bus. I tried to stop it. I made that way worse. Me trying to stop this whole thing going on and telling people it wasn't Chris's fault. They just cherry picked that, and it made it sound like I was bashing him, and I wasn't.
Right.
That wasn't my intention. I even put. I mean, I'm a member. I'm part of a subscription site. Jordan Peters, trained by JP. I put about a 15-minute video on there explicitly saying it was not Chris's fault, and I'm fucking sick of everyone saying it was Chris's fault, because it wasn't. Right. I actually emailed Chris about a month ago, because it kept playing over my head, and I was like, I feel like I just want to apologize to him, because I didn't mean for that to happen. I should have said nothing.
Right.
Because there's people like Trigilli, and there's all these dicks who just love negativity, and they love putting on a plinth for everyone to see and just say, look. And I'm sick of it. And it's like, that's not how I operate. I don't do that. I don't want drama. I'm a bodybuilder. I'm not like, this isn't the UFC. Right. So I just wanted to try and clear the air. I made it way worse for everyone, because people cherry pick what I've said and paraphrase what I've said. Right. It's like fucking Chinese whispers. And then I did message Chris last week. I was actually talking to him over the Olympia weekend. I didn't think for a second he'd want to work with me again. So over my off season, I've been in touch with a couple of other coaches. I was thinking, you know what? But I just want to work with Chris again. And a lot of my close friends were like, "You shouldn't work with Chris. After what happened, you shouldn't do that."
Yeah, why didn't you call Chris immediately, right after all this happened, and make sure you set the record straight with him right off the bat that you weren't holding him responsible? There had to be a period where you actually maybe were blaming him in your head, maybe just because you were temporarily insane or something like that. Because
we did speak on the phone about 3 days before, and he said, we don't want this to be a fucking circus. And I was like, I don't want anyone to know this. It's like it wasn't your fault, and I want to make sure people know that. So I think a lot of what I've said, I nearly died, so I was pissed off. Yeah. So it might have sounded at times that I was blaming Chris, and I wasn't. I did use diuretics. Chris told me to use the diuretics. Right. Yeah, but that's just that's only this much.
Well, the diuretics didn't cause the problem. Obviously, whatever else was going on in your body, viral, whatever.
Exactly, and that compounded the problem.
Yeah,
it was probably the worst possible time to be ill. That's why you're trying to dry out for a bodybuilding contest. That's the worst time to be sick. Exactly. And people just took, instead of taking the fact that I was unwell and everything else that happened, all they latched onto was Chris made me use diuretics and I was in hospital. They put those two together.
Right.
And I think I just got to the point where I was so sick of answering it. I was like, whatever. It was Chris's fault, and it wasn't. So that's why I'm here now. I just want to set the record straight. Chris Aceto didn't really kill me.
You know what? You're not the only one this has happened to. I have clients that Trigilli tries to exploit, and I saw someone had showed me he had something on his Instagram story about a quote from a client of mine, and I contacted this guy because I'm like, you get the best result. I got text message and screenshots of you telling me how great, the results are with me, and his girlfriend worked with me, and she came in second at this big first bikini show. She looked amazing. I'm like, we were communicating like 40 times a day. What's this about? Oh, it was misconstrued. Well, why don't you set the record straight? Because this guy is bashing me based on 2 clients that had tremendous, excellent results with me.
Yeah,
so
but
there's this, like I said, there's this negative campaigning against coaches, existing coaches, so that these guys who are doing this can take business away from people. And it's only a handful of people.
Well,
most of the people are very respectful.
I'm pretty sure that Nate Trigili didn't have 8 people in the Olympia this year.
No. But you know what? Even if he did, it doesn't matter. You don't negatively campaign against other people, because let me just tell you, Nick Trigili ain't smarter than no one out there. So, he might be a good Instagram marketer, but he don't have the education to hang with 90% of the people who are out there.
100%. Exactly. And it's like, fair play to Nick, do whatever you want, whatever you do, I don't give a shit. What I do give a shit about is people dragging my name under the bar through the day.
Right. Well, I wanted to give you the ability to clear that up, because I think a lot of people don't know the real story. They're avid followers of these guys' Instagram pages and these YouTube channels, and they'll listen to whatever they say. And I don't think it's right that these people, denigrate, someone's name like Chris or you, because look, Chris doesn't give a shit. You were the one who actually were being, people were putting words in your mouth, like I said. So I wanted to give you the ability to clear the air here and talk about what you got planned for the future now. I understand you're going to be doing the Arnold 2019. Is that correct, in the United States?
Yes, that's the aim, pending obviously the invite.
Right.
If Chris had killed me, do you think I would nearly killed me? Would I have asked him to prep me again? Right? It's not going to happen, is it?
If he would have killed you, I wouldn't be having you on here either right now. So that's
right.
That's pretty obvious.
Yeah. So I tried to set the record straight numerous times, and I actually all I did was add fuel to the fire. And I messaged Chris. I was like, man, I'm sorry. I tried to stop. I should have said nothing. That's what I should have done. I should have said absolutely nothing. But I thought, if the truth's out there, then people can make up their own minds. And they did. And their minds were made up that Chris nearly killed me. He didn't. So if he did, no way would I be working with him again.
Well, Luke, if you decide to give up bodybuilding, you can always go into a career in acting, and you could be a double for Kevin Smith, because you look like. Did anyone tell you look like Kevin Smith now?
I get it all the time, man. All the time. I like Kevin Smith. I don't look like Kevin Smith anymore, because he's lost about. He had a heart attack and he's lost about 40 pounds. So I looked like how he did when he was fat. That's what you're saying.
That's right.
Thanks. Cheers. That's what you're down there for, isn't it? Just a slate. Trying to get back. Did Chris bring you up to this?
We're putting up pictures right now as you're speaking. They look. You look like the spitting image of him. You could be definitely his brother.
I might actually have to get a giant hockey jersey.
There you go. That's right.
I'm gonna buy one.
You could be in the next Silent Bob and Jay and Silent Bob movie.
I know I need a Silent Bob. That's what I need. So, just to set the record straight, I'm not Kevin Smith, and Chris Aceto didn't nearly kill me.
So you and Chris will be working together for the Arnold Classic?
Yeah, I'm going to be starting with him probably this week, end of this week, hopefully. I'm just getting some stuff sorted out on my end, just to get ready. But I think it's about 22 weeks out, 21 weeks out.
Yep. Are you planning on moving to the US, or are you staying in the UK?
No, I'm going to stay in the UK. Okay. There's no need to be in the US.
I don't know. I just heard a rumor that you were moving. I didn't know if that was true or not.
I heard that exact rumor. I also heard as well that apparently I'm going to Kuwait.
Oh, you're not going to Kuwait either. Okay.
So this is what I mean. It's like, there's no shred of truth to that, and that.
It's funny that there's a lot of rumors surrounding you for some reason. You must be a pretty important guy, and you don't even know it.
I'm not. I'm just. So, like, I'm actually going to be Silent Bob now. I'm not saying anything ever anymore, because. Every time I talk, I get myself in trouble.
Yeah, but hey, at least you're staying relevant in the news, that's for sure.
Yeah, I don't want to be a YouTube, controversial. I just want to be a bodybuilder and just train, eat, have some fun. It's just, constantly, there's just this cloud of just shit around me that I'm trying to avoid. I don't want controversy, I don't want drama. I just want to be the best bodybuilder I can be, get to the Olympia, and have some fun. Wow. And then acting afterwards.
I think it's the fun thought of your thought process that might be attracting all the drama. So maybe we should get no more fun for you. Just train.
Well, I'll have to ask Chris about that. He's in charge now. So.
No more fun for
Oh, hang on. He's just texted me. We start the diazide today. Okay?
He told me he was going to tell you that. He told me he was going to say that.
He's actually saved me on his phone as Luke Diazide.
Yeah.
On his phone.
He said that Luke's going to be on Diazide every day for the entire prep to make sure that he gets enough.
Exactly.
In.
We know my kidneys can take it. They can take that.
That's right.
We've tested it. We're good. We're good to go. So.
And if anything happens, we'll just give you a little Lasix. That's all. We'll get Milos we'll get Amin to shoot you up with a little Lasix. You'll be fine.
Yeah, I need some Lasix and some insulin. I'm good. So
Luke,
I've got it all on standby. We're ready.
Luke, good luck with the preparations for the upcoming Arnold, and enjoy the holidays, and keep us updated if anything pops up or any new drama that you might want to air on the.
I'm going to stop going on podcasts, I think.
All right. That's going to take us, guys, to the end of another episode of Live With, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Visit speciesnutrition.com. I'm Dave Palumbo. We'll see you next time.